Hello, I'm Martin Bamford from Bamford Media. In this short video, some thoughts on the coronavirus crisis and what it means for financial planners. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Martin Bamford. I'm founder of Bamford Media, the creative agency that works with financial planners to drive engagement and help retain their ideal clients. We are in a time of crisis, and I wanted to come to you in this video and just share a few of my current thoughts around coronavirus and what it means for the way we do business. Some tips to share with you today as well for financial planners, things to think about in the weeks and months ahead. Now, we're all very quickly having to adapt to a new reality. In many cases, just like here at Bamford Media, the office is closed, people are working remotely, client meetings have been cancelled and are being carried out, in many cases for the first time, via video calls. This is a very, very dramatic shift in the way we've traditionally been used to doing things, and people feel very unsettled as a result. Now, it doesn't help that this is a developing crisis. Nobody really knows how bad it's going to get, how long it's going to last for, or what this will mean in the long term to the way we do things in society, the way we do things in business. I think the first thing I really want to say is we need to treat this like a marathon, not a sprint. We don't know, none of us know how long this might go on for. And for that reason, it's really important we don't allow ourselves to become burnt out by the minutiae of the daily detail. Now, I think I allowed myself to feel a little burnt out in the last week. I felt completely overwhelmed trying to keep up with the market movements, the economic announcements and consequences, the daily updates from a Prime Minister and Chief Medical Officer, Chief Science Officer. And really it's important to try and create a little bit of distance from this story. That's difficult, I know, because it's all around us. It's everywhere we look. It's everyone we speak to wants to speak about coronavirus. You know, I'm doing it right now in this video, but do try and create at least each day some separation where you can completely switch off, unplug from devices, stop worrying about the headlines, stop having conversations about it, and just really disconnect, reconnect with something else, something that's less troublesome, less worrying in the short term. But we really do have to treat this like a marathon. We don't know how long this is going to last for. We don't know how bad it's going to get at the moment. This could be a few weeks, a few months. Some are even suggesting it could be a year or longer. And we're going to have to adjust to that, and we're going to have to find a way to work within that new framework. And while there are lots of unknowns, I think the really important thing is just slow down a bit and don't try and keep up with every breaking development. The second thing I really want to say is the importance of putting your own oxygen mask on first. You know, when you fly on an aeroplane and you get the safety demonstration at the start of a flight, that's always the recommendation. You know, sort yourself out and then you can look after others and help others. Now, I've spoken this week to a number of people who are fantastic people, very generous, very giving, and they've become entirely overwhelmed because they've been working so hard to help other people. They've seen families in need, families who are self-isolating, who need groceries, who need medications picking up from the pharmacy, and in doing so, they've left nothing for themselves, nothing for their family. So put your own oxygen mask on first. By that I mean make sure your family is okay first. That has to be your priority, your family and your home. Check in with them at regular intervals, see if anything at all they need. And often as business owners we can become quite distant, quite separated from our families when we're away, if we are still working in the office or if we're locked in a bedroom somewhere trying to get our work done. Check in with the family, make sure they're happy. So number one, make sure your family's happy, make sure your home is secure. Number two, secure your business. Before you start thinking about helping others, and this sounds incredibly selfish, but I promise you it's not, you are in a much better position to help others once you've helped yourself first, once you've secured your business, secured your income. So doing sensible things, looking through your expenditure, seeing where you can make some savings, looking for things like rent freezes and rent-free periods. You know, landlords understand these are extraordinary times and they are generous in many cases. Looking at the government initiatives that have been announced, the Treasury initiatives been announced in the last week or so. You know, what can you get in terms of small business grants, access to interest-free loans for 6 months? If you need need to secure finances, do it, put yourself in a stable position first, and then look to help others and look to move on into the future. Number 3, it's also essential we look after our people within our businesses and we look after our clients at a time like this. Now, speaking to lots of financial planners this week, I know that there are lots of unsettled clients out there. We're seeing some dramatic market corrections, and of course, market corrections are nothing special. They happen at fairly regular intervals, and history tells us what's likely to happen next after a market correction. But even knowing that, even looking back at history, doesn't necessarily give clients the comfort that they need in a time like this. And of course, we've got a combination of things happening right now. We've got those severe market corrections, and we've got a global pandemic. We've got social isolation and social distancing. We've got some fairly draconian measures being introduced by world governments. None of us have lived through a period like this before. And of course it's worrying, of course it's unsettling. And I think in many cases, clients are conflating that social anxiety and that anxiety about what's going on in the world with the market correction that's also taking place, with the freeze on property fund trading, with the slashing of interest rates. So it's natural for clients to feel worried at a time like this, but also to think, actually, maybe it won't be all right. Maybe this won't turn out like all the other times did. So you have such an important role to play as a financial planner, to stay in touch, to regularly communicate with your clients, and to reassure to any extent you can, really. Now, looking back to the 2008 global financial crisis, the last really big experience we had of a situation even slightly similar to this, we picked up a huge number of clients during that crisis because we kept the phones open, we kept communicating at a time when many of our competitors, sadly, were ignoring client calls. They didn't have answers to why portfolios had fallen by 20% plus. So stay communicating, stay open, be humble. Keep being honest about what you know, what you don't know, and reassure where you can. But the more you communicate now, the more you'll protect your existing client base and also open up opportunities to engage with new clients in the future. One of the new realities of the way we're all having to do things now is remote meetings, remote telecommunications. So what I would say on that front is, firstly, familiarise yourself with the equipment you need and also the platform you're going to use. Become an expert in it and make it very easy for your clients to use that platform too. If you need to produce some sort of explainer page on your website or a PDF guide, you can email to them to let them know how to use Zoom or Skype or Google Hangouts, whichever platform you prefer to use. Do that, but become proficient yourself, become confident in the settings and how to share your screen, how to start and end a call, how to record a call, and also think about the kit you're using. Now, we've written a blog on this, I'll link to it in the description down below, about the type of kit you need for a really high quality client video call, and that is a high definition camera, it's really good quality audio, and I've got some recommended kit in that link below, and also a light. Now, get those 3 elements right and your video calls can be very, very powerful. They're almost as good as sitting face to face with a client. Not quite as good, but almost as good. And what I'd also say on that note is, don't rely on the telephone. The telephone's great for a quick catch up. You need to have a video call if you want to really create that connection, that human connection with your clients at a time like this. So get the kit, become proficient with the platform. This is also a great time to think about the content that you're producing. Now, in the last month or so, we have seen a significant drop-off in website visitors across the entire internet. Looking at the analytics for some of our client websites, anywhere between about 20% and 74% down over the past month compared with the month before. Now, of course, if you've got a website like Ocado or Tesco for home delivery, your website traffic is probably significantly up. But the reality is, right now, people are not searching for answers about their pensions, about their ISA allowances, about other personal financial planning matters. So don't expect your website traffic to hold up in the short term. However, and this is my bold prediction, I genuinely believe that once we see widespread periods of self-isolation at home, especially once the schools close next week, what we're going to experience is a huge upsurge in content consumption. People are going to be at home, they're going to be bored out their minds in many cases, they're going to have time on their hands, and they're going to be looking for answers to all those questions they want. So this is the time to start producing some really valuable content. Produce podcast episodes. This is fantastic at a time like this, and we launched earlier this week a podcast series for a client, their first podcast. Perfect timing, couldn't have planned it, and we didn't plan it, by the way. But if you've got a podcast to hand that you can share with your clients, and they can engage with you by listening to your conversations with other people and your thoughts on different subjects, that's just such a personal, human way to connect with your clients at a time like this. Video content, just like this. If you can produce video content using your smartphone, or you can invest in some kit like I've got here, a simple camera for about £500, a wireless microphone and an LED light, then you can produce really high quality video content that your clients can consume at home via the internet, via YouTube, embedded on your website. But also produce content that answers questions. Think about the concerns your clients have when you speak to them. What are they asking you about? And then that's your opportunity to write blog posts, to record podcast episodes, to film videos, answering specific client questions. Because if one client has that question, trust me, lots of people will have that question. And if you become the answer to those really burning questions, you become a trusted authority on the subject. So produce content, get lots of content out there, become an alternative to Netflix, because people are going to run out of box sets to watch on Netflix very, very quickly indeed. I think it's too soon to tell whether the corona crisis is going to have a long-term impact on our behaviours and on the way we do things in society. But already we're starting to see some quite interesting things develop. So people are starting to shop more locally. Within our village here, we're seeing shops which were traditionally newsagents putting fruit and vegetables outside the front. When supermarket shelves are empty, people turn to other options, and there's some fantastic businesses now springing up in the local area who are doing food box deliveries, who are just really making a more local experience. Our village market yesterday was the busiest I've ever seen it in the 20 plus years I've lived here in the village. So think about how habits will change, and one of those habits that will change will be a more local focus on doing business, on shopping, on consumption. We're likely to see less travel, certainly in the short term, because there will be lots of restrictions on travel. People will be staying closer to home, and that will translate to who people decide to do business with too. So it's very unlikely, if somebody's looking for a financial planner at a time like this, that they're going to want to engage with somebody an hour away or 2 hours away. They're going to be looking for people in their locality. Even if they have to deal with them remotely at first, in the long term, there's something quite comforting about knowing that your financial advisor is a mile down the road. So think local in terms of your communications and your marketing and how you position what you do in your service. Now, this is a great time for financial planners to become leaders within their communities. We've all got fantastic skill sets when it comes to running businesses and communication, and it's exactly what's needed within local communities right now. In the last week, I formed part of a COVID-19 action group in my community, just contributing ideas about how we keep people safe, how we stay in touch, and that can be replicated across any community in the UK. I'm sure there's many community action groups forming right now. So get involved, stick your head above the parapet, become a leader, and really become a beacon through this dark and stormy weather, because it's what people need right now, and you will be remembered in the long term for it. So in this video, just a few ideas around your response to the coronavirus crisis, how you need to think in the short term, but also the medium and longer terms as a financial planner, because things have changed and they really will change in the future. And it's scary, it's unsettling, particularly in the short term, this initial phase when none of us really know what's going on, how bad it's going to get, how long it's going to last for. And we're all making these fairly radical adjustments to the way we do things, the way we live our lives, the way we socialise, the way we do business. So it is a scary time, it is an unsettling time. If you would like to talk, drop me a line, martin@bamfordmedia.co.uk. Come onto our website and book a discovery call. That's bamfordmedia.co.uk/discovery-call. We're not pushing any of our services or products at this time. It would be wrong to do so, but I am here. I'm very happy to chat and just be a shoulder to cry on if that's what it takes too. But it helps to talk, as I found out this week with multiple conversations. I've had a tough week. I found this very, very difficult to accept what's going on and what's happening. But I've really turned a corner in the last 24 hours or so, and I've got a much more positive outlook on what's going on and what's going to happen next. If it helps to share that positivity, then I'm here and I'm very, very willing to chat to you. But I hope you found this video useful. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel, leave us a like and a comment below, because that really helps with the YouTube algorithm too. But thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care of yourself and your family, and I'll see you next time.